As somebody who's been baking for over 10 years now, I realized that small and simple tips can really change the way you bake. And in today's video, I'm sharing 10 simple but effective hacks that will change your life. So let's get started. So let's talk about the active ingredients, and when I say active ingredients, I mean the leavening agents like baking powder, baking soda and yeast. These ingredients help your baked goods to rise and give them texture, but if they're not fresh or active, you'll end up with hard, dense and flat baked goods. So before you use them, if you're not sure about their freshness, it's very important to perform a simple test to make sure they're ready to use for your recipe. Baking soda needs an acid to react with, so I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of baking soda into 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, and if the baking soda is good to use, it'll bubble up like this. Now to test if baking powder is active, we'll combine 1 teaspoon of baking powder with some warm water, and if it fizzes and bubbles up like this means your baking powder is active. And now to test yeast, I am going to combine some sugar with lukewarm water and yeast, and within 5 minutes, if the yeast doesn't foam up on top like this means your yeast is too old or expired and you need to get your hands on some fresh one. So if you don't bake too often or have these products sitting on your shelf for too long, I highly recommend you do this simple test to test their freshness and activeness before you get baking to ensure your baked goods turn out super fluffy and soft. A lot of times when you add fruits and nuts into your batter while baking, they sink to the bottom and don't remain evenly distributed in your sponge as you would like. Now the best hack to prevent that from happening is to coat your nuts and fruits in some flour before folding them into your batter. The flour around the nuts and the fruits help them stick to the batter, making sure they're evenly distributed just as you would like. Always fold in these coated nuts and fruits towards the end right before baking, and make sure you're not using too much maida, because otherwise you will have excess of that flour going into your batter, which is something you don't want. We've all been there where we excitedly fill our pans with batter only for it to spill over in the oven. And that is happening probably because you're overfilling your pan. Underfilling or overfilling the pan is one of the most common baking mistakes. You'll see that every time you follow a recipe, the pan size is always mentioned, but sometimes you may not have that exact size of pan in your kitchen. And as somebody who's been baking for so many years now, I've realized that filling 2/3 of the pan is the sweet spot. And this 2/3 rule applies for circular pans, loaf pans, and even for cupcakes and muffins. After covering your cake in a rough layer of chocolate ganache, and once you freeze it or set it in the fridge, to give your cake a smooth, glossy and shiny finish, the best hack is to dip your offset spatula in some hot water for a few seconds, then wipe it dry using a tissue and use it to smoothen out all the edges and achieve that perfectly clean look. Make sure your offset spatula is not too hot, otherwise it'll start melting the chocolate ganache. Now, I know a lot of you struggle with sourcing cream cheese, or if you get it, it's way too expensive. And one hack that has changed my life over the last few years is discovering that you can actually make cream cheese at home. It's so much cheaper and actually super simple and delicious. All you have to do is to heat some fresh cream and whole milk together, and then add in either vinegar or lemon juice to split it, and you'll see that the curds will start appearing on top. Now put it all into a muslin cloth, get rid of all the excess water, and then blend the curds with some whey liquid to make it a super smooth and simple cream cheese. While blending, you can also put some herbs and spices into your cream cheese if you want a savory cream cheese, or you could also use the plain cream cheese to make cheesecakes and other desserts of your choice. Another tip I want you to keep in mind is to always bake your cheesecakes in water bath. Now to make a water bath, first wrap your pan with the cheesecake batter in some aluminium foil, then place it into a bigger pan or tray and fill that up with some hot water. Please imagine that the pan has some cheesecake batter in this. And this is exactly how the cheesecake will go into the oven. Be careful and make sure you're using a pan which has very high edges so that you don't end up hurting yourself with some very hot water. If you're somebody who always ends up with super thin spread out cookies in the oven, that is probably because you're not chilling your cookie dough before baking it. I always put my cookie dough into the fridge overnight or at least freeze it for 30 minutes before I put them into baking. Now chilling the dough before baking helps with three things. A, it solidifies the fats and ensures that the cookies hold shape while baking. B, it hydrates the flour and also ensures that the cookies develop a richer flavor. And thirdly, a chilled dough is always easier to work with and shape. This brings me to my next hack. If your cookies do actually end up spreading too much in the oven, there is a simple way to fix them. Once they're out of the oven and still soft, use a cookie cutter to gently nudge them into the right shape. This doesn't affect the texture and ensures your cookies are looking perfectly aesthetic and delicious. Time for my next hack. While whipping cream, sometimes you may take it way too far and end up with over whipped cream. Now the best way to fix it is add a tablespoon or two of chilled whipping cream to your over whipped cream and gently fold it in, and the final result would be a super smooth cream that you can use to frost your cakes and cupcakes. While a lot of people use only melted butter or oil to grease their pans, one thing that has ensured I never end up with cakes stuck to the pan is using parchment paper as well. Simply adding a layer of parchment paper means I'm completely stress-free and don't have to worry at all about my cake sticking to the pan. I use it for my circular sponges, but also in my square dishes and loaf pans. And whenever I'm using it for brownies and loaf cakes or maybe set desserts, I always leave extra on both the sides, which then works as a handle for me to be able to pull the dessert out once it's baked. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed watching it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for a lot of baking tips. And I'll see you guys next week with a brand new video.